All right, what's up, everybody? This is your boy Black Magus back with Gaming Enclave. Say what's up to the people, Pete.
What's going on, people? Back again. Raw
Yep,
coverage. Let's get started.
episode 9 of the Sharpshootin podcast. We're moving right along here. Pretty cool. Now, first of all, before we get into Raw, did you get a chance to see the NXT pay per view?
Yeah, I actually ended up watching it, and phenomenal,
Yeah,
crazy,
I thought
over the
so
top.
too. It was some botch spots. Your boy, of course, was doing a lot of botching. Uh, Sin Cara, he
Loves the lazy match.
Yes, exactly. He definitely. But even with the botch spots, that tag team match up was great. And it's funny because you never really got to see a whole lot of Murphy and I forget the name of the other guy. Didn't really get to see them work really strong matches because they were usually at the end of defeat against Sin Cara and Kalisto sometimes. Of course, the Ascension would bury them. Um, the Vaudevillains, things like that. But it's like it was good to see them wrestle from a strong standpoint. They were really good.
Yeah, no, that match was terrific. There was one bit that stood out to me, and that was Kalisto. Was it Kalisto that made that massive botch? Like, it was like the biggest fail in the ring. Like, he
I
tried
think,
to jump out, and he kind of got caught on the ropes, and then he had to,
yeah,
like, go back and jump again. I was
yeah,
just like,
yeah.
oh,
It
God.
was it was really bad.
So
It was
I gotta say, some of the moves in NXT, some of the moves they do are just freaking brutal. Like,
they are.
honestly,
You
they're
would
just
never see it in WWE. That's the funny part. It's like a
never.
lot of people. It's kind of funny because as much flack as we give Roman Reigns, if you looked at some of his NXT stuff, he did a lot more to cover up his lack of, you know, like total skill. But he would do a lot of high flying, crazy. He would do, some interesting moves. But he doesn't get that in the WWE. Same thing if you go back and look at Seth Rollins. Like Seth Rollins, he would do some seriously crazy things that you don't really see. Triple H lets them go just a little bit more, just a little bit more. But that
Yeah,
match was good. Uh,
The Finn Balor Adrian Neville #1 contenders match. I thought that was amazing.
yeah, I was so hyped for that, and they did not disappoint. I was glad to see Finn Balor do his Prince Devitt routine. I think he's going to do that pretty much at any. He says he only does that really when it's a real big event anyway. So that was
I,
cool. I kind of
I,
wish he
I,
did come out like that all the time. To be quite honest.
the low light for the pay per view in general for me was the Corbin Bull Dempsey match, because it was a no disqualification match, but it felt like they didn't really use anything.
Yeah, no, they didn't. And to be quite honest, Baron Corbin is still trying to get his ring skill up a bit. I like the character. I like what they're doing with him as far as how the persona that they're building behind him. They just need to work his ring. You can tell they need to get his ring skill up because he doesn't do a lot of stuff in the ring.
Yeah.
Before it was just total squash matches with him. Now they're starting to make him go a little bit more, like when he fought Adrian Neville and things like that. So
Yeah, and then you had the. To be honest, this was my match, like the match I was looking forward to going in. I couldn't believe it. It was the Divas Fatal 4-Way. Like, literally, that was the
I
match I
told
was
you
so hyped for, and it delivered too. That
it
match was pretty
did,
crazy.
and I was very surprised that they finished. And that's one of those things we don't really get. We don't get these surprise finishes anymore, and that shocked me because you couldn't have told me that Charlotte wasn't going to somehow pull this off. I figured either Charlotte was going to win or they were going to give it to Bailey. I did not think Sasha Banks was going to
Yeah, that
pull
that
off.
actually threw me off too when she did it, and
Yeah.
wasn't it she tapped, didn't she, or she passed out?
Huh?
Charlotte tapped at the end, didn't she?
No, she rolled her. She caught her in a roll up really quick because she was trying to do something. I think she was trying to make her tap, but she ended up doing
Yeah.
the move to get her shoulders down, and they counted her
Oh
out.
yeah. No. It was like Charlotte was gonna pass out because she wasn't gonna tap, and then it kind of like awkwardly went into a pin.
Yeah.
And then suddenly she was the champion. I was like, what the hell? And then the end, because I remember we were speaking about, you were watching this while we were doing last week's Sharpshootin podcast, and you said that it was an ending you didn't expect. And then I watched it. I did not see that coming at all.
Yeah,
That was not
none
how
of
I thought the
us saw
match would
that
end.
coming.
That was brutal.
But I love the like end of most of the matches. How you saw them show respect to each other. Like you saw her like shake her hand, and
It's
like
very
Sasha
short.
looks at her
Very,
like,
very
really?
short.
So then Sasha just goes ahead and shakes her hand, and then she mocks her with her Ric Flair shit.
Woo!
I thought that was great. It was like, that is awesome.
It's
And
weird. It's weird when you see them try and put Charlotte on the top rope because they're all so much smaller than her, and they're trying to like
yeah, she's
adjust
just
her
a
to get her.
huge. Yeah,
She's tall,
No, she's
but
extremely tall and very athletic.
Kevin Owen just dominant, absolutely dominant.
I thought, and honestly, I'm still with that match. I'm still kind of wondering if he really did hurt himself or if he was just putting on the spot. Because when he hit the ground after he jumped out of the ropes and hit the back of his head, I thought he may have been out. But as you're watching Kevin Owens just completely go haywire and says, "Okay, I'm just gonna powerbomb this dude," it made me think maybe he wasn't really hurt, but he played it so well that I thought that he was hurt, and they just like on the fly switched it because Kevin Owens basically powerbombed him to sleep.
You
Like,
could, do you know that is the most brutal match we've probably seen since, you know, when Brock Lesnar just kept doing the freaking German suplex to John Cena, just
Yeah,
over and over. That it was like
I
that,
think
but
this
more
was actually
brutal.
more. Yeah, it was better
Yeah.
because
It was
it was
power
like, yeah. Not only that, they clearly built up the whole. I think, Sami Zayn is out on his feet. He may have
6 power bombs.
and he just kept doing it. It was like he did the exact thing that you would do to somebody if this was like a real competition and you knew your opponent was that hurt. That's what you would do. you would
Yeah.
you would make that injury make him tap out.
This is one of the first WWE matches in a while where, while seeing it, I actually think to myself that they should stop the match.
Yeah, because I was thinking that too. I was like, well, if he's really hurt, why are they letting him do this? And you could see the look on the crowd too. The crowd, when they took shots to the crowd. And you know what? Again, this is why I need Triple H to be in charge of WWE, because he knew how to play it up. Because he had them go to cuts of the crowd where you saw like women with oh God, people with this look of concern on their face to build the drama to it. He made you like really, really feel that moment. And then when they said that's it here, and gave him the belt, you're just like, what in the hell just happened?
And then you see, I was sitting there and I felt like it sort of felt like after Kevin Owens got the belt, it felt like he was happy for a bit, but then it sort of felt like he was just going to go back over and just start again. I thought he was going to just go again.
Exactly. And that's how you do it. I mean, because hey, we know wrestling's not real anymore. Kayfabe, it has died, but you still want to like have that suspense of belief. You want to go along with the storyline, because that's what you do, like with movies and stuff. And that pay-per-view, they did a hell of a job of making you go along with the story. You really did. Like, go ahead.
That was a great pay-per-view, and for that being my first not live, but first NXT pay-per-view that I've watched. I mean, I watched the last one as well, but it was kind of broken up. I watched it over the space of a few days.
Right.
But this one, I sat there and I watched it, and I didn't want to turn it off at all. I'm loving NXT at the moment. It's just
Yeah, well, you remember the last podcast, I kept looking over because they replayed it and I couldn't stop looking at it because it was just, it was that engaging. It definitely had that old school feel that you got from pay-per-views back in the day, and it's a shame that they can't do that with the main roster anymore. But
we with the highlights, we have to go to a bit of a low light, which means we're
Yeah.
leaving NXT and we're heading over to Raw.
Okay,
The-
before
the
we do
pay-
that, just before we go directly into
Yeah.
first of all,
Yeah.
I need to get a shout out to Cardiac because he told me to watch SmackDown. I also have to say I hate you for making me watch SmackDown because I had to suffer through a lot of stuff and see exactly what it is that you were talking about, which was Kane and Big Show came up with this idea of a tag team turmoil to put Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns together and face like a bunch of people. It was did Los Matadores? Yeah, Los Matadores was one tag team.
I know they faced like it was
Yeah, it was
Titus
Los
O'Neil and
Matadores.
it looked like Heath Slater. It's like
Yeah,
Titus
Titus
O'Neil,
O'Neil.
Heath Slater.
Yeah, it was Titus and he said
Big
they
Show
were the
and
third
Kane.
time tag team that they faced. The second was the Usos, and then I think Big
They
Show and Kane were the last one because I think it was only those four.
The
that
Ascension
put in
came
there.
out at one point and just
No, it
like
was
beat 'em
5.
up.
It was 5 because right before Big Show and Kane, the Ascension, and we thought they were the last one, and yeah, they got disqualified in their things. But the whole thing was it made people for a bit think, hey, are they trying to make Daniel Bryan a heel? Because the first match, it was just them trying to upstage each other, show each other how good they were against Los Matadores. Second match, of course, the Usos being the champs put on put up the best fight out of everybody. And when one of them would get hit with a good move by one of the Usos, the other would laugh and look at them and be like, let me show you how they do it, and then vice versa, all that. But then it got to a really ugly point where Daniel Bryan started to get frustrated. He started to punish the hell out of the Usos. He had one outside of the ring, and he was just stomping the hell out of them, and then you see Roman Reigns come in and like, hey, stop, that's not what you're supposed to do. Don't do that to him. You see he's hurt,
I wanted to mention with that, do you think that it's playing off the fact that the Usos are related to
Yeah,
Roman Reigns?
they were seriously doing that because, at one point in the ring, he got in with one of them. I forget who it was, Jimmy or Jay, but he came in and he broke up a pin. And you see him one of the Usos get up and like, hey, what the hell are you doing? He was like, I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do. What are you talking about? I'm trying to win the match. And they just had like that little, it was like, I guess, weren't you expecting, you're my blood, you're not supposed to break up my pin, type of argument it seemed like, and all that.
And at the end of that tag team match with the Usos, I saw that Daniel Bryan just held on to the S-lock, and then Roman Reigns came.
Yeah, he made him
was
break
like,
it
yeah,
up because he's just like, and so it was like you were trying to like, are they trying to make Daniel Bryan the heel in this whole situation? And then you had the mutual show of respect at the end after Kane and Big Show blew up against each other. Big Show gave the knockout punch to Kane. Yeah, and then
he
like
got,
they were.
Yeah, it was a spear, wasn't it? And then the running knee.
Yeah, and then that little bit. So it was like, okay, well maybe this isn't a heel turn. Maybe that was just them having just a heated, session. I don't know, but let's just go now to Raw, where we will continue the debate on this.
Yeah, all right. So Raw started off. John Cena came out, and John Cena's eye looked like it cleared up, by the way. Actually looks like he can see now. I actually thought it'd take a lot longer than what it did, but it seemed to just rapidly heal. And he did the usual. He's come out. He's talking about him versus Rusev at Fastlane, how Rusev's a super athlete, and how he's going to beat Rusev at Fastlane. But the biggest thing I got out of his whole promo was the fact that Cena finally, for weeks we were saying that he should be making mention of the United States Championship, and
Exactly.
he did it. He finally did it. He said he fights for the respect, to teach Rusev respect, but more importantly, he fights to win the United States Championship, and that was key. It just made the match and the title mean that much more, just like that. Just in the click of a finger, the title actually started to mean something, even though I think they should have done that from the start of the rivalry instead of
Exactly.
5 seconds before. And then you had Rusev come out, and Lana was talking. Then Rusev said that he's going to crush everything John Cena stands for. And then John Cena started running up the ramp. They had their fight again on the ramp. This time Cena stood dominant, and it was actually pretty brutal. He threw him into what's it called? Where Raw's written and stuff.
Oh yeah.
The board. Yeah, that.
Right.
He threw him there. He threw him there twice, and then at the end, Cena was just standing with the belt in the air, and instantly you just felt like, oh wait, go into that match. Now, as far as the match itself, I'm sticking with what I think, and I'll say this when we do our predictions video for the pay-per-view. I really do still think that it's going to be a DQ'd match. I don't think you're going to get a clean winner in this one. They're going to fight at Mania.
I could see that. I mean, with the late start to the build-up, that would make kind of more sense. So you can get a better build to the whole title and put a little bit more weight behind the title, and to show like he's serious and this is something that's seriously being sought after.
Yeah.
Honestly, through most of Rusev's reign anyway, they should have had it that people were coming after him because they wanted that belt. I don't think it should have necessarily just been about beating the Russian who disrespects America and who's undefeated. They could have made it like, this guy thinks he's the best. I'm going to prove him wrong, and I'm going to take his title. That should have been the whole. I think now, if they're going to keep the belt on Rusev, now is the time that you need to start building heat on him outside of just being the Russian who disrespects America, because you're going to need to build a long-term plan for this guy, for us to care for him to stick around, because he's going to eventually lose. And once he loses, that whole hate USA thing is going to go out the window and not really mean anything. It only means a little bit now because he just happens to not lose and can clown. You know what I mean?
But yeah, it's good that they're getting weight behind, and from there, from that whole segment, it cut to a promo. Now I'm not sure exactly what Dean Ambrose was doing a promo of. He was making reference to something. He was like a news reporter, basically, an anchorman, if you would. But I don't think he was actually referencing the anchorman. And he was saying how this just in, Dean Ambrose needs a title shot for the Intercontinental Championship, but breaking news, Wade Barrett won't sign the contract. And then it's like, it basically led up to the point where he's like, and now I beat Curtis Axel, a former Intercontinental Championship holder, last week, and this week I'm going to beat another with Luke Harper. And it just kicked into their match where he came out. And to be honest, this match, I'm not going to lie, right? Because I write the matches and then I write the winner right under it. With this match, before it even started, I wrote match 1, Dean Ambrose versus Luke Harper, because this was the first match of the night. And I put winner straight away. Before the match even started, I said Dean Ambrose, Dirty Deeds. And then, long behold, after this match ended, how do you think it ended? Oh no, it just ended with Dean Ambrose with the Dirty Deeds. To be fair though, the match was actually pretty entertaining because, to give credit where it's due, Luke Harper's actually really good in the ring, for his size especially.
He moves very well for a big man. Him and Eric Rowan, they both have to move real well.
Yeah, and it was actually pretty entertaining, and I literally enjoyed the match. And like I said, I had the winner predicted just from the start of the match. And at the start, it was cool, though, because basically Dean Ambrose was walking around with the clipboard with the contract on it, and he took it to the ring, threw it on the announce table with Michael Cole when the match started. They were reading it. Then he went back in the ring, he fought, and then when he went to leave, he went back and grabbed it. And it's basically just hyping it up. So from there, you had Bray Wyatt's promo, which he actually did 2 in the one night, I'm pretty sure. Which I was surprised.
I mean, he wasn't doing anything, so I guess they had to give him face on. You know what I mean?
But it was good. His promos, as always, they're magical, and you know he's calling out the Undertaker. Like we say every week, if it's not clear now, Jesus, he's just going to keep scrubbing it until the window's sparkling.
It's funny though, because I was watching. I was on Twitter while I was watching, and somebody was trying to say that the Undertaker is supposed to be signing with Lucha Underground. I was like, yeah, right, whatever. He's not missing WrestleMania. I don't care if he was signed with another company. He's not going to miss WrestleMania. So, yeah, he's definitely going to face Bray Wyatt, which should be a good match.
Yeah.
Only that I think Bray's going to lose, but, I mean, that's fine. It's the Undertaker, you know.
Basically, after that promo happened, it cut to Michael Cole and stuff, and they were talking, and they bring up Dusty Rhodes' tweet about him. He's at Raw this week, and he's going to fix the brother bond between Goldust and Stardust. Because as we all know, I said that they're going to break up. They're going to fight at WrestleMania, and every week they're just teasing it week by week, and I think this week basically sets it in stone. Let's just say that.
Oh no, it's a definite. This is lock.
And this was the good bit, because this was the bit where you tuned in. The match of the night for you. New Day, Kofi and Xavier Woods.
Yeah,
Stardust.
Yeah. I missed the first half, and I was like, oh damn, I missed the first half hour of Raw. And then I came in, and I tweeted this. I was like, I forgot that Raw was on, but now I kind of wish I did forget a little bit longer. I could have went just, about 10 minutes without catching it. And it's not that I don't like any of these wrestlers. I just think that the New Day thing is just... It's bad. It's bad. It is funny because now and then you would see them get some crowd participation, but for the most part, it's
dead crowds. Not sure how to reply.
Yeah, because it's just not. You don't need that.
It's a very irritating stable, and for the people that watch this podcast, you guys already know every week we talk about how bad they need to get rid of this, or at least change their gimmick. You can keep these superstars together, just don't make them do what they're doing. Yeah. Coming out to like gospel music and just...
together they're interesting and they're funny, but they don't need that gimmick.
But to say the least, this match was average. It was just the ending that got good. So wrapping up the match itself, there was Cody went for his where he jumps up the rope and then he kicks him, and then Kofi ducked. Cody realized he was going to hit Goldust. He stopped, went outside the ring. Kofi hit Goldust with the Trouble in Paradise, and that basically summed up that. But it was a bit weird because you had they were emphasizing. I knew something was going to happen when they were emphasizing on Dusty Rhodes watching the match, from backstage, and they had Goldust couldn't get up. I've seen people kick out of a freaking Trouble in Paradise before. This guy's knocked out completely, and you see
he hammed it up a bit.
Yeah, you see Cody helping him up, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, Cody hits the crossroads on Goldust, and I was like, oh shit! I was like, holy shit!
Yeah, and I always liked the Crossroads. I always thought the Crossroads was a cool finisher. I wish he
That
would
is,
use it more.
yeah, he should, and he should go back to Cody Rhodes. But we need this to go. And then it went backstage, and you had Cody Rhodes and Dusty Rhodes confront each other, and Cody played a psychopath perfectly. Like he was mental.
Yeah, no, he definitely did do a good job of playing crazy. The whole stars and all that, like, you're not my father and all that stuff. I'm like,
Yeah,
wow.
he's like he said something that was brutal, and it was something like I've got to live up to the like my father was like some polka dot wearing superstar, and then I got my like crazy brother that wears like face paint and all this. He's like, it's a lot of pressure. And
yeah, no,
like,
it's gonna be a good build up once they finally get that split. It's gonna be a shame to see Goldust leave, but yeah,
it's
I would
needed
like to see
for
them
Cody
go
Rhodes.
against each other though. Yeah.
I
I need Cody Rhodes back to being Cody so he can go back. He was gaining heat, and even when he partnered with his brother, it was gaining heat still. And then he went to the Stardust thing, and that just no, come on, man.
Why'd you do that?
Be Cody, please be Cody.
But yeah, they will have. I reckon they'll have a good match at WrestleMania, and hopefully that's the end of Stardust, because it need another gimmick that just it's a wasted talent. Just it sticks him in a place he shouldn't be.
Exactly.
So we'll go to match 3, which was Roman Reigns versus Kane, and we had our little special guest on the announce table, which was Daniel Bryan, and this whole thing was kind of I thought it was pretty stupid, to be honest. Like, I didn't like the fact that it was just like how do I put it? It's like Roman Reigns was so distracted by the yes chants. Like, he was literally that distracted that he just couldn't do anything. And
yeah, it was late.
Do you think that the match went for a bit, like, I mean, the match itself went for nearly 5 minutes, so it's not that long when you think about it. But it sort of felt like Kane was a lot more dominant. Then I thought they'd push Reigns. They'd try and make Reigns look like an absolute animal. And the ending was disappointing.
Well, they was trying to build up the whole he's just off his game, he's distracted, he just Daniel Bryan's getting into his head, and all of that. It's this whole building up the mind game aspect of it, and I didn't care for it personally. But I mean.
Oh, I just want to say I want to say with the match is there was 2 things that really upset me about this match. One, it was that the match was average, to say the least. And do you know what it was? It wasn't us paying attention on Roman Reigns versus Kane. It was us paying attention to Daniel Bryan on commentary. Yeah, that was what the match was.
I guess, I mean, it works for what they want it to do, which is what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to build heat to the pay-per-view. I'm just kind of confused as to where's the angle at, because, again, going back to SmackDown, you had that little glimmer of, is this Daniel Bryan snapping and becoming a heel? And it was like, for him to do that, it kind of like made you think, are they trying to make him a villainous type figure compared to Reigns at the moment? So, yeah, it is what it is.
For those wondering, those that didn't catch Raw, which I'm assuming most of you would have that are watching this, Roman Reigns won with the count out, which was I hate disqualifications and countouts when they don't make sense. These, I feel like, I swear to God, they were out of the ring for like 3 seconds. Like, it almost felt like. It didn't feel like that long. and then suddenly he did the spear, and then they're like 9. It's like, what? What just happened?
Right, but again, I guess a lot of it was because we weren't really supposed to be paying attention to the match. They had us so focused on Daniel Bryan talking outside, and
Yeah.
that I mean, the
That,
match they could have saved the match at that point. The match was just nothing. It was not even secondary. It was like a third or fourth afterthought compared to what was going on after outside of the ring.
yeah.
I mean, I guess it does. It did its job of trying to build heat. I don't know how much heat it built, but whatever.
Yeah, that's so true. But after that, we had the second Bray Wyatt promo of the night, which was a bit shorter than the first one. It was actually really short. It felt like it went for like 20 seconds. And again, there's not much you can really add to them. It's just we know he's facing The Undertaker. All things are leading to it. But we can move on to... I'm not sure if it's WWE Divas or Mean Girls.
Pretty much Mean Girl. And I think I said that in the tweet. I'm just like, so they just basically they pretty much took the script of the movie Mean Girls and told the Bellas to reenact it. That's all it is. And it's like, really? You steal her clothes? Because as a wrestler who's at the top of their profession, that's what we do. This is why no one is going to and probably shouldn't ever take the Divas serious as long as they keep doing stuff like this.
Yeah, like this match was bizarre. So at the start they had the backstage thing where the Bellas took Paige's clothes. Paige comes out with the towel, and she was actually nude under that, which was pretty random because it was trending on Twitter, Paige naked or Paige nude, and I think that was about the highlight of the match. But Paige ended up grabbing, what are they called? They're Adam Rose's people. Oh, are they the Rosebuds? I'm pretty sure they're called Rosebuds. Yeah. She took one of their clothes, the skirt, looked like a little carnival outfit or a little Alice in Wonderland outfit or something. She comes out, she fights Summer Rae. Summer Rae actually did a pretty creative move because Summer Rae has really long legs. She did it was like a master lock with your legs, if you were.
Yeah.
It's odd. It's odd as hell, but the match was average to say the least, and Paige ended up winning.
Summer Rae can't wrestle. That's the problem.
Paige ended up winning with the move we forgot last week. We said it was the Rampage.
PTO. The Paige.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's called because I ended up remembering that because that's what they said, PTO, Paige tap out. And then Nikki came out to talk trash and Paige just cut her off instantly. And you know what? Paige actually cut a pretty good promo leading into Fastlane, where she said something like, it's like, the difference between you is I don't need an outfit to look good. And then she said, it was like, I'm going to have a new accessory anyway. And it's like your Divas Championship. And I was like, that's actually that was pretty creative. At least it gets, to be fair, this Divas match is something I'm not looking forward to. But
I'm not either.
At least that was a cool catchphrase to get me at least smiling towards the match.
No, I mean, the best thing they could do is give Paige the belt so you can at least have a real wrestler hold the belt. But I know it's not going to happen. I know somehow Nikki's going to win.
I reckon it'll be maybe Bella Magic or something dirty like that.
Yeah, the fake boobs is gonna still be pushing our face. I guess until the season. When is the end of Total Divas? This season. Are they near the end yet?
No. Wait.
Once it goes off, maybe they'll let the women who actually wrestle have the belt.
Total Divas is so delayed Like right now, Total Divas is season 3. They're recording that, and that's back heaps. Is it Survivor Series they're at now? No, they're ages back. Like it's not up to date. That's the weird thing. But season 3 ends this week.
Okay, cool. Maybe then Paige will get it because we need. You seriously
Hopefully, it doesn't
need.
get renewed for a 4th season. That way, the Divas division will become a bit more serious. With that Divas section out the way, because Divas section every week it always irritates me because I feel like they can do a lot with it, and I always say they can do a lot with it because Naomi should be there and she's not, and it irritates the crap out of me that she's playing like the wife role. And Natalia, I'm not even going to go into it. They cut the Sheamus promo. He's returning one again, which, this is the first time I've actually seen a returning promo be featured in quite a while in WWE, like being successfully repeated on Raw.
Yeah.
Did Brian? I didn't think Brian had one. I know that he came out on Raw occasionally and talked about his injury, but I don't think he ever had a return.
They didn't. They didn't really build it. It's just that he would just show up on shows and talk a couple of times, and then when the Royal Rumble came around, he did the whole in-ring speech, and said, "Yes, I'm going to be in the Royal Rumble," and that was it. It wasn't any real build-up.
So, Sheamus is going to return. When he's going to return, what he's going to do is beyond me, but we'll just have to wait and see. And that led to a match that on paper, and actually this match, to be fair, a disappointing ending, but really, when I heard who was versing in this match, I was just like, yes, finally, Seth Rollins versus Dolph Ziggler. That sounds like a match made in heaven. Like, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, we know that Seth's gonna pretty much beat the high-class jobber, but
yeah, and basically, the match was. I mean, first you had Seth Rollins come out and cut a little promo about how he's the most talented performer in the entire world. He was saying that he could do other things. He could run for president even though he's too young, stuff like that. And then he made mention of Ryback, Eric Rowan, and Dolph Ziggler. Ziggler came out, and there was actually there's 2 good lines that really stood out to me, and one of them, Ziggler's like, when he called Jamie Noble and Joey Mercury, he called them, he's like, tell your 2 hobbits to back off. And I was just like, that was pretty random. But then Seth Rollins, like, when he said this, he said something like, the only thing funny about you is your career. And then I was just like, I thought Dolph Ziggler would then start listing out all the championships and stuff he won, because he's a 2-time World Heavyweight Championship. He's won the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah, it's funny, Dolph actually has weight to his career, but you don't really notice it because of how they normally just have him, basically put on these great shows just to lose. You really don't realize it until you sit and think about it. Dolph has some pretty good resume behind him, but it just never has felt like it was worth anything. At least in my opinion, they devalue it so much. That's the funny part about it.
Yeah, no, that's so true. With this match though, even though it was short, I felt like it had a lot of moments, and one of them being Jamie Noble, Joey Mercury sent backstage because of I think they went to attack Dolph Ziggler while he was outside the ring, and the ref saw it.
Right, in the ref.
And again, surprisingly, Ziggler won, and he was gonna win anyway with that zigzag. But of course, the DQ, they came out and
they ran back out. Yeah,
irritates me like mental when stuff like that happens. But after that, you had Eric Rowan and Ryback run out. And you know what they should have done? You know how Seth Rollins Seth Rollins, he ran straight away. He got out first, and then Johnny Mercury got knocked out of the I think Ziggler knocked him down, then kicked him out. And when I thought when Jamie Noble attacked Eric Rowan from behind,
yeah,
I thought that they were just all going to team up on him and just start unleashing all these finishes on him.
Well, I mean, they probably didn't want to really do that because Jamie Noble doesn't wrestle anymore because he did have a back injury, so they probably didn't want to do a little too much on him. But yeah, that would have been pretty funny if they would have just bounced him around the ring.
Shell shock.
I hate it though because it's like I understand Seth's your biggest heel, that's cool. But it would be nice to see Dolph pick up a win clean. That would have been nice to see, because then maybe you could have fleshed out your pay-per-view with it. Because as I look at the pay-per-view lineup now, it's okay. But they could have, built something for that match. Maybe, maybe I'm, wrong, but they could have put that type of match in there. Because I think right now, as far as the card is concerned, it's John Cena, Rusev, Paige and Nikki Bella, Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan, Barrett and Dean Ambrose, the Usos, Tyson Kidd. So there's 5 matches. Yeah, they could fit something because they need more matches. At least in my estimate, I think they need more matches for this pay-per-view.
Yeah, I think they're gonna. The way it leaned at the end of the match was basically Ziggler, Eric Rowan, and Ryback versus Seth Rollins, Joey Mercury, and Jamie Noble. I think that's the way it's going to end. I don't know if that happens at Fastlane or they drag it out even further to WrestleMania just to get.
I hope not.
Seth Rollins has to have a match at WrestleMania. It doesn't matter.
Well, maybe you put Ziggler and stuff there. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
But then again, there was the rumors that Ziggler will be facing Daniel Bryan. But now there's the rumors. Now there's the rumors that they're going to do a triple threat, and WrestleMania Fastlane means everything. And speaking of Fastlane, they made mention of the pre-show, and if ever I was going to watch a pre-show, they finally did one that kind of piqued my interest, and that is Miz TV with special guest Paul Heyman. And anything with Paul Heyman makes me want to watch it.
Yeah, that's true. You definitely want to see Paul Heyman. Not the Miz, though.
He's going to... Paul Heyman's basically just going to be talking. Paul Heyman will just be talking about the Daniel Bryan Roman Reigns match, what it means, all this nonsense. But way to get people to tune in a bit before, just to get that. More than likely, you'll get a bonus New Day match as well.
No, you can't, because they're not going to have anybody to rival against at the moment.
They'll find someone, but
no, the Cody drama, you can't play that at the dark match. So
yeah, true. So from that point, finally we get to a bit of a media bit of Raw, which was Triple H coming out to talk about Sting last week and how everyone thought that. He was basically asking the crowd, do you think I'm scared of Sting? And he was laughing off last week's confrontation, just like it was nothing. And then Ric Flair came out. And to be honest, the Ric Flair coming out was quite a surprise. I really did not see him coming. He was like the last person I expected to come out. He ended up coming out and he was talking about... how much he respects, how much he loves Triple H, and he's like, you can't be too mad at me for coming out because this is where you inducted me into the Hall of Fame in Orlando. And it was basically Ric Flair warning Triple H not to take him lightly. And
Yeah, the whole like shoving Ric Flair down, all that. Well, let's just hurry up and get to WrestleMania because you know what everybody's expecting.
but
You
there
and
was
Sting
some
wrestling.
there were some great quotes in this. Like in their talk, there were some great points. Okay, Ric Flair saying, he said a wrestler's worst enemy is time off, and I thought that was brilliant when he was saying when he also said I think it was something like someone asked me who's the best wrestler in the WWE at the moment. I say Triple H when he's wrestling, and then it was just like they went from there, and then Triple H said, "While Sting is WCW, mark my words, I am WWE." And I was just like, "Oh shit!" And
Yeah, it was
then
a good promo.
that was a really, really good promo. Triple H is amazing as a heel, as a face. It does not matter what he's doing. He can make you laugh, smile, angry, or cry. He does not care. He's good at everything he does with that mic. One of my favorite wrestlers, if not my favorite wrestler of all time.
Yeah, he's
That,
definitely good. He's very good.
but it ended with I think Ric Flair was basically saying, "I don't want to see you on your ass like you were at WrestleMania last year when he beat Bryan, when he lost to Bryan," and then Triple H just pushed him over. And then he said he was just standing over Triple H was standing over Ric Flair and just unleashing, like, not hitting him, but just yelling at him,
Right,
like,
just like verbal barrage. Like
yes,
it was great though. It was
no,
like
it
he
was.
just seemed very pissed off at Ric Flair for that. But it's like, hey, Ric Flair didn't say anything that wasn't true. I mean, you got into that triple threat and you came out a loser.
And yeah, from this point of Raw, I'm going to need you to take it because match 7 of the night was the Ascension versus Darren Young and an unnamed partner.
It's funny, and I looked it up just to see if someone, quote unquote, discovered who the person was, and it's like it's someone that we don't know. He's
Local.
part of like future stars of wrestling. Camp, uh, Kevin Cross, never heard of him. But I guess they were like, hey, you're in Florida. We need somebody in here. Come on, kid. So they had a match against the Ascension, and it wasn't really a match because the Ascension came through, bell rung. It is funny because at the beginning of the match, after this, before the Ascension came in, they announced Darren Young's name, and then they were just about to announce the nobody's name, and that's when the Ascension's music hit. And you see the kid in the ring like, hey, I mean, can I get my intro, please? Like, what are you doing? And basically, the Ascension just comes out and just like straight like mauls Darren Young, throws him to the side, and then just like about to beat down this kid, and out of nowhere, Titus O'Neil runs to the ring. Now, mind you, they've been doing this whole Slater and Gator thing since we had the
Oh dear God.
like spat between Darren Young and Titus O'Neil, and they just recently had Slater and Gator wrestle on SmackDown previously. Now all of a sudden, Titus O'Neil is coming to Darren Young's rescue. They both like go at the Ascension and run them out the ring, and you see them standing there together, both hyped. Do we have what I asked for back? The primetime players?
I
I
mean,
mean,
I heard that the music played the
yeah,
prime time
after
music.
that, they played the primetime players theme song after that whole thing. And I was like, whoa, so are we
Is
back in
that is
business?
it, is that a thing? Which would be good.
Yeah.
I'd actually like that. I actually want that. Like
Again,
another tag team.
they were one of your better tag teams, and you gave them not one shot. No, let me rephrase that. You didn't give them a legitimate shot at even getting the belts. Because I personally think when they were together, especially Titus O'Neil is great on the mic. He is hilarious. He is comical, and they worked well together. I mean, when he was doing Pancake Patterson, I love Pancake Patterson. That was a great fucking character. That was hilarious. They could get the belts and they could do some really good stuff with these guys. Or if you don't want to give them the belts, fine. That's cool. At least have them around because they would be what I would probably prefer to see out of the New Day, which is two people who are cool with each other, just clowning and putting on good matches. That's all you need to do. You could show their personality without making it gimmicky. That was one of the things I liked about the Primetime Players was that they just seemed naturally funny together and seemed to work well together, and it worked. You know, please do that with them again, and then have them teach the New Day how to act and do this properly, please. I'm kind of glad that the Primetime Players are back. I definitely would like to see them back in the mix heavily again, because that Slater and Gator thing, yeah, that just never worked for me. Although I will say this, it was kind of a surprise on SmackDown to see Heath Slater back after the issues that he was having as well.
I was actually I wasn't sure if that was him. I saw the highlights of Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns winning, and I was like, who's the ginger guy? Is that surely that's not Heath Slater? Surely not, but it turned out it was. So
yeah,
we can move. You're gonna have to do this match as well because again, I don't know I download Raw every week, and these matches were just cut out. And the next match was Damien Mizdow versus Bad News Barrett. And
yeah, and
I hate that I missed it just for the ending.
Yeah, because it was actually good to see Miz getting. I mean, not Miz. No, we don't want to see Miz. Damien Sandow. I'm not even going to call him Mizdow. Damien Sandow. The man is Damien Sandow. God damn it. Get him away from the Miz. Anyway, it was good to see him wrestle, but they're still having him do I do some of the Miz's moves. But it was like every time he would start to do something, get momentum, Miz would be like, hey, give me a bottle of water. Hey, my shoes got a smudge on them. Could you clean it? Stupid stuff like that to just like distract him, take his momentum, which eventually led to him getting caught after because he was taking it to Wade Barrett, and then the Miz stops him again. He goes back in. He gets hit by the bull hammer. 1, 2, 3. Wade Barrett's celebrating happy. And this is like, really, come on. Okay, we know you're pushing this breakup, but you're pushing it a little too long, in my estimate. Just have them have it out. Have Damien Sandow beat the hell out of the Miz, which I think everybody in the world wants to see anyway. Please give it to us so we can send Damien Sandow on his way, and have him do the same thing that we need with Cody Rhodes. Hell, put him and Cody back together. I like the Rhodes Scholars. They were awesome. Just get them both out of their gimmicks that they are now and have them have their push like they were getting before. But the thing about this that was actually entertaining somewhat, although I feel like it's kind of forced to, was that at Ray Barrett, he's all happy. All of a sudden you hear Dean Ambrose's music hit. The Miz is like, oh shit, I'm running out. I don't know if this happened before the match or just happened some other time, but I think he said it when he was sitting on his side, was he was supposed to be protecting Wade Barrett from Dean Ambrose, but he ran as soon as Dean Ambrose's music hit. So Dean Ambrose comes out, assaults Wade Barrett, ties him to the post with zip ties, and tells him he's not going to let him loose until he signs a contract for the Intercontinental title match, which he does. So that's how we got our Intercontinental title match on Fastlane, because basically Dean Ambrose, held him hostage for it. Which
I just want to say that this right now is the best possible thing for that Intercontinental Championship, because Dean Ambrose, look at how heavy of a pursuit he's gone on for this Intercontinental Championship. See, it's building meaning. It's making the title mean something. And Dean Ambrose needs to take it because the way his character is being built right now behind that Intercontinental Championship, he can only take it up with him.
Yeah, and he'll actually I could see him as good as he is on the mic. He would promo the hell out of that title. He would make everybody want to come after him. He would talk so much shit about how he's the champ and how he's the best that yeah, he'd put a bullseye on his own back and make people want to see matches. That's the type of person that you need holding a belt. Somebody who's gonna have it and make it matter not just by constantly defending, but he's going to talk it up. He's going to build it. He's going to make it like, I'm the best. Come at me. Bring it.
Let me word it this. I just want to use this as a reference. Okay, you think Kofi Kingston, he's held the Intercontinental Championship numerous times, right? When you hear that, you don't really care. Chris Jericho, when he held it 7 times, he's held the Intercontinental Championship 7 times, and that is like stamped on his career. You see the difference in times?
I'll do you one better. Think about how you just framed that. You just said Kofi had it numerous times. Chris Jericho had it 7. What's the difference there? You remember how many times Chris Jericho had it because it mattered. Nobody cares about how many Kofi has it because it never mattered.
That is actually no. That's the way I should have gone with it. But honestly, Dean Ambrose needs to win. I mean, see, with the US, I can't say that it's bad Rusev holding it. I just think it's bad Rusev doesn't promote it heavily. Rusev would be a good. I'm happy with him being the United States. That doesn't bother me because he's a big athlete. He can put on good matches. He's athletic. But Wade Barrett as the Intercontinental Champion, Wade Barrett doesn't do enough. No. He didn't deserve the title in the first place, to be perfectly honest. Like we've said, he's a placeholder, and that's the easiest way to put it. So hopefully now at Fastlane, Dean Ambrose can take it to new heights where it deserves to be. Like we said, it just opens up the division, the WWE, so much more if those belts mean something.
Yeah, because I wouldn't mind if they had Wade Barrett try to come back and get it. Okay, cool. Give him something to do and build him up by having him constantly pursue this. At least it'll look like, hey, there's a real competition for this belt. It's like Luke Harper, when he said he's going to beat another former champion. Luke Harper holding that belt really didn't have any meaning either. And I really liked Luke Harper, but it was like the way that he held it, it just made no sense because they never played the fact that he was Intercontinental champ. It was just him helping out the Authority, and he happens to have took the belt from somebody that the Authority didn't like at the time who had the belt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that's so true. So I think you can. Yeah, this is the final match that I won't really have any input in simply because I wasn't able to see it. Jimmy Uso and Naomi versus Tyson Kidd and Natalya.
Yeah, so intergender match where basically Tyson Kidd just acted like a bitch the whole time. So they start off things and Tyson Kidd is acting like he doesn't want to grapple. He's jumping through the ropes, trying not to get touched by Jimmy. Tags in Natalya. Of course, Jimmy has to tag in Naomi. And the girls go at it a bit. You see them wrestle. They're going back and forth a little bit. Natalya gets the upper hand with, pulls off a good move. Goes to, tagging her husband. And he looks at her. He's like, no, you keep going. Just keep going. Just keep going. You wrestle. It's okay. You're doing good. So then you get, this whole big, flurry of roll-up reversals where eventually Naomi gets the pin. They go away victorious. Cesaro immediately jumps in the ring and is looking at Natty, is, yelling at her. And you see Tyson Kidd jump in the ring, and he's, pushing Cesaro off, and Cesaro's like, I'm sorry, I guess, apologizing for yelling at the guy's wife. So, he's like, it's okay. And then Kid immediately turns to Natty and starts yelling at her, like, just really coming down on her verbally. And it's just like, really, really, because I saw the commercial. I think at this point they actually showed the commercial after that match for the next episode of Total Divas, which has them talking about how their relationship's in shambles and they don't know what they're gonna do. And you got Naomi talking to Natty like, he really loves you. You should work it out. It's like, really, y'all are really
Yeah.
doing this bullshit.
I just want to say, in reference to Total Divas and this whole thing, the angle they are pushing it at is that obviously Natalya and Tyson Kidd are having relationship issues, and they're not getting along on the road as well. That's why they're yelling at each other. To be honest, simply put, Tyson Kidd's career is being made by Total Divas, which isn't a bad thing, simply because now we're finally getting to see Tyson Kidd in a tag team that is actually good for starters. So it's done wonders, but it needs the Total Divas WWE clash can't happen. This stuff just doesn't work, and it's so frustrating. From what I heard, though, Natalya and Naomi, what I was reading just before we went live was that their match was actually pretty good, and it had a lot of ups and downs. And
Yeah,
to be honest, they're saying that it's a bit better than most of the WWE Divas matches we've seen in a while.
No, this would be a good, like, if it was just them going at it, it would be a good match. It would definitely be a good match. If it was just, like, you just want to have a straight wrestling match featuring the ladies, this would be one of the ones that I would put. I would put them against each other, just like, Paige versus AJ would be good, things like that. But they steal any real value from it from a wrestling standpoint by tying it into this whole Divas drama. It's like, come on, really?
Yeah, no, I understand that, but I want to say that, again, I'm just going to reiterate the fact that Naomi should not be playing second fiddle to Jimmy Uso. She should be in the Divas, top of the Divas, pushing for the belt. How good is she in ring, honestly?
Yeah, for a minute I thought they were going to try to do that, and then they got into this whole mix with...
Well, I know at one stage she was right near the top, and then she actually did suffer an eye injury. And then after that, it's just been a slow build from there. But they need to work out something quickly. Even Natalya, I don't know how long I've said it. I always feel like she deserves a title run, even if it's short, just because of her in-ring capabilities. The thing she lacks is her microphone work. She's
not a great personality, but she wrestles. I don't care.
She proves in the ring. She doesn't even. She could be a heel. Put Natty as a heel. Let her just wrestle. She just has to say a few words.
Yeah.
You want my belt? Come get it. But wait, again.
But you know what? To be quite honest, it doesn't matter how good you are on the mic. When it comes to the Divas, because it's all going to be tied to the buffoonery of the TV show. So it's like having someone like Paige, it doesn't work because it just doesn't fit the TV program, and that's the problem. They're trying to gear everything around that whole situation. It's ridiculous. It's a nightmare. They should never do it.
That's exactly it. So, that match was basically the end, just before the main event, and the main event was Big Show vs. Kane, and this was exactly like you said. This Raw was exactly how you said it. Everyone's sick of seeing Daniel Bryan vs. Kane, and everyone's sick of seeing Roman Reigns vs. Big Show. We've both said this on the podcast. So what did they do? Now Daniel Bryan versus the Big Show, and Roman Reigns ended up versing Kane earlier in the night, as we discussed. One thing about this match that I've always hated when the Big Show is getting beaten by someone smaller than him, like really so much smaller. You know when I'm pretty sure at one stage he lost to Rey Mysterio, and I remember I used to get so irritated watching that because, in reality, the Big Show would crush him.
Yeah, it
Like,
wouldn't even be
legitimately
a
just crush him.
match.
But, granted, this match, again... Okay, so Big Show versus Daniel Bryan with Roman Reigns. Not on commentary, though, because Roman Reigns can't speak, apparently. He can only speak when he does his little Jack and the Beanstalk promos. But he was just sitting on a chair on the outside, and because Roman Reigns doesn't have his own way of getting the crowds hyped up, he really doesn't. He can't get just him there isn't enough to get cheers.
Right.
He was signing autographs to start with, and that was how he was. Yeah, autographs and selfies, and that's how he was distracting Daniel Bryan. And then throughout the match, when Daniel Bryan was getting beat down by the Big Show, Roman Reigns, it panned to him and he'd be smirking. And then out of nowhere, Bryan locked in this. It was like a sleeper hold, I'm pretty sure. It's actually a pretty good one. Big Show sold it pretty well. I mean, the only thing Big Show really didn't sell well in that match, and I've got to say, I give Big Show a lot of shit for being lazy. There was a bit where Daniel Bryan was trying to get Big Show over the ropes, and it looked like he was choking him because Big Show was stuck and he couldn't get his legs up. And then you see Big Show when he falls, his head's like bright red or like a purpley color.
Yeah,
because he was actually getting basically strangled to get over the ropes.
Exactly. I'm like, wow, he's really cutting your oxygen off, isn't he? It's pretty good.
That was the truth. And then Reigns ended up throwing some T-shirts out, I'm pretty sure. That was the second distraction. And then they did the whole, what was it? I think it was Big Show went to spear Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan moved. He speared Roman Reigns. Then they went back in the ring. And it was basically all going Daniel Bryan's way. Daniel Bryan ended up on the top rope to go for that kick, that drop kick. And out of nowhere, Roman Reigns runs in the ring and does the Superman punch to the Big Show. And then they you heard Michael Cole, it's like, Roman Reigns doesn't know he's on the top rope. It's like, Roman Reigns knows damn well that he's on the top rope. But then Daniel Bryan hit that drop kick, and from there it was just the brawl of a lifetime.
Yeah, like this build, going back and forth, and I'm like,
it was good. It was actually really.
It was decent.
Built it real. It built it. I reckon it built it well because you heard the crowd, and the crowd were actually chanting, "Let them fight."
Yeah, but I think I was done with the whole shenanigans at that point. I think I'm at a point now where I'm ready for Fastlane to come, just to see where they're going to go with the outcome. I need to just see if he's going to cave in and have Reigns lose so he can set another triple threat match. Because Reigns is going to be in the WrestleMania. At least, if not in the main event, he's going to be vying for the main event somehow. Whether it's he wins straight out at Fastlane and then goes, or he loses and then there's some type of demand for a triple threat and Bryant give it to him. Or something. Something is going to get him at WrestleMania and probably in the main event. But I'm just curious to how they're going to get there. I feel like they're going to try to do something really convoluted instead of just let him beat Bryan and just let us live with this. Go through it. And then move on after that.
So that's the thing that I really don't get. It's how did Triple H sit there on the podcast and say WWE is like a book. They may not do it this time around, but remember, there's still next year. Why couldn't they have just done that with the Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns should go to Mania. It should not be this. If Roman Reigns drops this match and if he's not in the main event at WrestleMania, I'll be disgusted. Like, as much as everyone said they didn't want to see him there, you make your bed, you sleep in it. That's the way I see it. WWE, Vince can't just back out. It's like too hot in the kitchen, and he's tried to leave.
Right. And see, the problem is it'll be the second year in a row, so that sets precedence. That means that every time. I mean, look, I have said it constantly. He's not ready. They should give him a while before they throw him in that spotlight. But they did it anyway, so it's whatever. That being said, while it's not what I want, I'm willing to live with it, and I think a lot of people should live with it, because the problem is, if he backs down now, gives us Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar, so every time now something happens that we don't really like, all we have to do is just bitch and moan, and make him cave in, and they're gonna keep. You can't run your business like it's not gonna work, because then you're gonna have, you basically might as well, have me and you do the booking at that point. You know what I mean? Why do you even have people there if you're gonna let the booking? I mean, booking has always been dictated by the fans in a way. As far as you do something, you get a feel, you get a sense of what the crowd is doing, and then you find a way to work it in. But you do not just wholesale hit a button and reverse everything. You don't call it audible. You don't change the play right there. You find a way to make it happen naturally, and that's Vince's problem right now. He's so disgusted that people are telling him he's wrong, that he's willing to just blow everything up and just throw in a new set of, plays without even thinking it through. And
it's so
you can't do that. You can't do that. I mean, I am willing to see Roman. I would, honestly, I'm at the point now where I would rather see him force the issue and give the belt to Roman Reigns than to manipulate it some way now where Daniel Bryan gets the belt, because it's not going to seem, to me at least, it's not going to seem natural. It's not going to seem like it was something that was going to happen. Let it happen when, some other way. You don't do it this way. Don't force it. Don't, because you're just going to take the belt off of him in some stupid way. That's the thing. If Daniel Bryan somehow does really go to the main event of WrestleMania and wrestles Brock Lesnar, and he wins, he's not leaving WrestleMania with the belt. We all know that, right? We all know that if he beats Brock Lesnar for the title, Seth Rollins will then cash in on him and get that damn belt. He's not letting Daniel Bryan leave WrestleMania with that belt. He's going to find some way that he can appease us and get what he wants, regardless.
At the same time.
Yeah.
No, that's definitely the way to look at it. And to be honest, it's so hard to say, because I know that there's no way that it's not going to be a triple threat. That's the thing that's irritating me the most. You can almost lock in a triple threat at this point, simply because if Bryan doesn't do this, what does he do? I said earlier there's the rumor that he's going to be facing Ziggler, but there's no angle they could spit that at. There is literally no angle. And I really think Ziggler's going to be in a triple, it's just going to be 3 versus 3 at Mania. The only way Bryan doesn't fight in that main event at Mania is if Sheamus returns and takes him out. That's the only way.
That wouldn't even work with me, to have Sheamus take him out and then give Reigns the... Now, just have him fight Seth Rollins.
Maybe they go with the angle that Sheamus is upset that he's one of his WrestleMania moments. Oh no, he beat Bryan. Well, that goes out the window. So, just quickly wrapping up this episode of Raw, because there is one more topic I want to discuss before we finish. Raw this week, at the end of it, how do you feel? Heading into Fastlane.
At this point, I just want to get to Fastlane and see where we're going. I really want to see what's late. Fastlane is going to tell us a lot. If you weren't interested in Fastlane, to be quite honest, the reason you should be interesting is because this is going to be extremely pivotal as far as what we're going to see for the next 6 months. It's not just going to be what's going to happen with, WrestleMania, because it's going to have to all go all the way to SummerSlam too. This is all going to be played out all the way through now to SummerSlam. And I'm curious to see, is he going to cave, or is he going to keep, make a stand? That's what I want to see right now. And that's what I get out of this. This is he's wavering. You can see him wavering. You can see him wavering, but you can also see him trying to pull a fast one somehow and get what. And I'm not sure where he's going with this.
Yeah, that's so true. I'm gonna leave it at the Over the Limit pay-per-view. Am I excited for it? Not really. I'm not over the moon for it, but there are some matches in there I want to see how it pans out, and I'm just happy that the biggest thing I'm getting out of this, the United States and Intercontinental Championship, finally getting a little bit away. And that's all I'm going to take from Fastlane. We'll look forward to WrestleMania. Also, we'll have a predictions podcast coming out, hopefully within the next day. Or
yeah, definitely.
We'll get that done.
We'll probably give it until, I'd say, at least after SmackDown. Because you know how they like to do their late-minute bookings. Some random match all out of nowhere. I could just see them pulling something like that. Seriously.
Yeah. No, that's definitely right. We better hold out. WWE is way too unpredictable.
Yeah.
But speaking of that one extra thing I wanted to talk about, now that we've covered Raw, Samoa Joe has effectively left TNA, which for me is, I mean, Samoa Joe was actually pretty cool. When I used to watch TNA, and I wouldn't watch it weekly, I wasn't someone that tuned in weekly, but I would watch it every now and then. And Samoa Joe was actually one of the cooler guys from there.
Definitely.
No joke. Definitely one of the better ones. And I really feel that this leaves a door open for him to come to the WWE. It's a very slim door, in my opinion, but if he comes, more than welcome. More than welcome.
Yeah, I would like to see that. One of the problems, though, is Vince, of course. It's funny, I was just reading this article, the Penny Candy, I forget who writes it, and he was talking about how, it was interesting for him to see Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, because most of their popularity has been built from independence and, lesser wrestling, affiliations and things like that. And Vince just does not give indies a shot because he's all about creating the next big thing. Again, look at Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan built a hell of a resume in Japan and in the indies. He's come to the WWE. Fans love him. But for the most part, looking at his tenure in WWE, he really hasn't been given a big shot until last year when Vince caved to fan pressure and finally did it. Flashback earlier, same thing with CM Punk. CM Punk was an indie guy, who gained a lot of heat, and Vince just could not
bring himself.
ignore that. He couldn't ignore that. He couldn't bring himself to give him the shot, but he had to because the groundswell was so big. You don't see many people come from other federations than WWE. Period. There's only been, to be quite honest, since the merger, since the fall of WCW. Think about all of the people who weren't originally or hadn't been with WWE for a extremely long time, who actually got legitimate, headline shots. Jericho probably was the Jericho, and I would say Benoit probably had the biggest impact in WWE after leaving
Yeah.
WCW. You can say Eddie in a way, but it took Eddie a long time to finally get his hands on a top belt. He would just have the European belt or something like that, but it took him a long time to get that title shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, that's so true.
He doesn't really generally give. I mean, we could say, well, the Attitude Era, yeah, but that was something that was forced upon Vince. Vince had no choice because his company was getting buried, and he had to ride that wave to keep his company alive. Because if he didn't, there would be no WWE right now. He had to go with that momentum, or WWE wouldn't have exist. Because he wasn't gonna. The company was not doing good until Stone Cold blew up and opened up the gates for the personalities that we had during the Attitude Era. I mean, it just wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
He doesn't care about how good you are, how talented you are. He has his idea of what makes things work in wrestling, and he wants to stick to it. Someone like Samoa, yeah, he is. Someone like Samoa Joe. You look at Samoa Joe. He's not in the greatest shape. He doesn't look like he's in the greatest shape or anything like that. He's not really tall, really muscular. He's not the quote unquote good looking kid. He doesn't fit Vince's mold. He would be great in WWE, just like when I was reading the Penny Candy, they were talking about there's always been this long-standing rumor that Vince has this no TNA guys clause. He doesn't want he doesn't want anybody from TNA for some reason, Because think about some of the people who've left TNA over the years who could have been in WWE. I mean, AJ Styles would have been phenomenal. I love AJ Styles. AJ Styles, if you've never seen AJ Styles wrestle, people, please go look at him. Styles Clash is one of my favorite finishing moves of all time. AJ Styles could work. Who else could he have brought over from there? Bobby Roode. I don't know why Robert Roode is not in the WWE. Bobby Roode and Austin Aries, they should be in the WWE. But he does not want to bother those guys. And it's weird. It's the weirdest thing in the world. That's why, in a way, it is kind of surprising to see people like Adrian Neville, Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens in NXT, because those are indie guys. Hell, even Seth Rollins built his career a lot off of indies, and same thing with Dean Ambrose. It's kind of a surprise to see them getting somewhat, some heat in the WWE, because that's not Vince. He doesn't like those guys, and I don't know why. And it goes back to what I say all the time. Please let Triple H take over.
I mean, that's longer. Triple H definitely sees. He's. I think we've all seen this. It's Vince is stuck in the past. That's the truth. It's Vince can't see past. It's because he had it. I think it really stems from the fact that Vince, because he went through all that to get to WWE where it is today, he feels like he's got to do that every single time to achieve success. Where in reality, all us WWE fans, and I think I speak for most people, all we want to see are wrestlers who can wrestle. We don't want stupid gimmicks. We don't want 30-minute promos. We just want wrestlers. Plain and simple. We don't care if they're big. We don't care if they're small. In reality, you don't care if they're they could be extremely tall. They could be extremely short. As long as they can put on a good show and really actually wrestle, I'm happy with whoever wrestles in that ring. And I think Samoa Joe actually, like you said, he's not in the best shape, but he was actually pretty good in ring and enjoyable to watch. I think he would have some great matches with current wrestlers right now.
Yeah, no.
Imagine him versus Dean Ambrose for the Intercontinental Championship.
Oh, that would be a brutal match. That would be great. I would love to see something like that. Because, I mean, even for his size, again, he doesn't look like he's in the best shape, but the guy can move. And he's a really good technical wrestler at that, which makes it even better. The guy's good.
Yeah.
He's really, really good. And it's like, why won't you put him in there?
That's the truth. It all comes down. At the end of the day, Triple H already said it. It comes down to Vince. Vince is the final hurdle that everyone has to cross. And it doesn't matter how good your idea is, at the end of the day, if Vince doesn't like it, it doesn't go forward.
Yeah.
It's the truth. And it's kind of, I wouldn't even say kind of, it's just so annoying to see. And what can you say? Just we have to wait until he moves out of the picture.
Yeah, and God knows how long that's going to be.
But I think that pretty much wraps up this week's episode of Raw, and we'll be back for our Fastlane predictions probably after SmackDown.
Definitely will. Once again, Raw. It is what it is. I'm not even gonna go in on that anymore. But thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. Pete, say goodbye to the people.
Yeah, thank you guys for coming out. Really appreciate the support you guys have been showing. Actually, we've actually had a pretty good following really since the start.
Definitely appreciate that. Keep coming back. We're just gonna keep going, keep getting better. And we have a pay-per-view that we're gonna be talking about soon. So expect another live reaction. You're gonna get the predictions in a couple of days, so look out for that. And that's about it. So once again, thanks guys. Appreciate all the support, and we shall see you the next I guess next podcast. It's 4 a.m. here, 5 a.m. here, by the way, at the time of this recording. So I'm probably a little off. Anyway, we'll see you guys later. Peace.
Yeah.